Okay, so you guys have seen the CYCLEKART, the Bardol CYCLEKART, and I have had this one as well, but I haven't really talked about it yet. And I'm gonna talk about it today, and I'm gonna show you why. Because we're gonna do something really special with this one. As you probably already have figured out, these things are made to use a GX200 or a Honda clone motor like this Predator right here. And they work fine just like that. If you want to keep it like that, great. But in the spirit of trying new things and doing something different, I decided I'm going to rip the GX200 out of this one, or Predator, sorry, it's a Predator. And we're gonna do something different here. We're not gonna run this anymore because we took the stock motor out of the SurRon, which I have right here, and we're gonna mount this sucker up. So what we've got here is a full wiring harness, a controller. This is a BAC 8000 from the SurRon. It's got a little more pep than stock. And the stock motor, which we've got this awesome mount system that replaces a typical Honda clone footprint. So this will mount up to the same mount. It's gonna use a 420 chain, which we have here. We'll trim that to length. And then we're going to hook up a battery, which we have. I'm gonna mount the battery right here under your legs. And then we'll have to reconfigure, I think, the sprocket, move it a little bit to fit to the right position. But it's gonna make for an interesting little project. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get the Predator motor out, and we're gonna put that motor in and just see what kind of space we have to work with so that we can configure everything and get it where it needs to be. So let's go ahead and do that first. We'll get this out and put that in its place. All right, the old engine is out, the motor is out, and the new electric motor we have bolted in place. We've got it test fitted here, and it looks like it's gonna work just fine. I'm gonna mount the controller, I think, here, and the phase wires just come straight across. They won't hit the gearing or the braking, so that's good. Just have to make sure the harness can reach here for the actual sensors, hall sensors, and that should be it. Then we can start figuring out the rest of the wiring. We're gonna run one battery cable, obviously, to the front to the battery, and then the harness. After we get the harness mounted, we have to figure out the throttle. I have this throttle converter, so it's mechanical to electric, so we can use a cable still. That's gonna work pretty well, I'm pretty sure. So we'll get that situated, try and see how this all fits in there, but look at that, huh? Starting to look like something. The electric cart. I should have weighed, I forgot to weigh everything, but I think it's gonna be similar when you consider the battery weight and the motor weight, but being able to put the battery forward is gonna make the center of gravity a lot better. So let's keep on chucking here and see if we can't get this thing situated. All right, so we've got everything installed. As you can see, we've got the SurRon motor in, braced. I had to make a modification. I had to actually notch the frame to get the chain to fit with this big gear, but the gearing's a lot better than it was. And it actually needs to be a little bit more. I need to get a smaller pinion, or whatever you want to call it, drive gear. But other than that, we can do a little test drive. I'm just putting a quick zap on the battery real quick, and everything you can see is hooked up. This is a stock SurRon harness, all connected to the BAC 8000, and we're actually gonna run this with the Kilowatt app. If you guys haven't seen that, if you have a BAC, it allows you to do a lot of stuff to it. It's a really nice user interface. I like it. Big shout out to those guys that are developing that app, Kilowatt. Check it out. And we've got the throttle you can see here hooked up. That went right to the same cable that was already connected to the Predator motor, so it works out perfect. If you've got a gas conversion like this to electric, you can use one of those bad boys, no issues. And that's pretty much about it. So let's just let this battery juice up a little bit, and let's go take it around the farm real quick and just see how everything does. So here we are, and we've got it in our low power mode, or EP mode. And so the Kilowatt app, you can see, measures everything. It's pretty cool. It shows your speed, shows the power being consumed. I got it on a phone mount, so it's not the best connection, but hopefully it doesn't fall off. We'll see. Either way, it seems to ride pretty good. It's cool because it's so quiet. It's way quieter. Hell yeah. You can see in that mode, we pulled around 5,000 watts, so 5 kilowatts, which is where we have it set. And then in our sport mode, you'll see it switch here. We'll be able to pull a little bit more. So let's go ahead, try the sport mode, see how that feels, huh? Oh yeah. We're spinning. Woo. Nice. Little drifto action. You can see here that was 11 kilowatts. So obviously a lot more power in in sport mode. Put it back in EP mode now. Got my switch down here. Back to low power mode. That's fun. So great first test. Yeah, I'd say that worked pretty well. I think it'll probably do around 35, 40 miles an hour in low power mode, and God knows what it'll do in high power mode. But as I said, I want to do some gearing changes as well. But that was a pretty good first test. Pretty solid. You can see the Kilowatt app measures everything. We hit 17 miles per hour there. It's just some great features in this app. But either way, great first test for the electric conversion on the CYCLEKART. Worked like a charm. So the second CYCLEKART on the channel here is now electric. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack from some of the purists that are into these things. They're gonna be like, oh, why'd you do that? But let's not forget that electric cars were actually around before the gas cars. I'm just saying. Not necessarily perfect representation of what's going on here, but either way, don't blame the technology, okay? Really cool. We're gonna go ahead and see if I can get a smaller pulley here. We'll go down. This is like a 14 tooth. I'm gonna go down to like a 10 or 11, just to take the load off this motor, because by the figures, this is supposed to be a 6 to 10 horsepower power plant for this car. And this motor coming in at 5 kilowatts is a little short of that, and we're just juicing it by putting a lot of power through it. So not the most efficient way to get the most out of this setup. Maybe a better solution would be a bigger motor, but I had it, so I'm not gonna go stress myself, go buy a whole new setup. But either way, stay tuned for more. This is gonna be a great project, and I'll see you guys in the next one.